So I was molested, but molestation does not mean necessarily penetration. And assault is rape. So I was not raped. I was raped later, but I
Okay.
wasn't raped by my grandfather. It would be classified as incest because he did. I was a family member, and molestation. So he fondled me. He um, he masturbated while fondling me, but he never penetrated me.
How old were you at this time?
I was seven, 8.
And at that time, you were told
Not to say
not to
anything.
say anything,
Yes.
not to tell,
Yeah.
and that was a dark secret that
Yes.
you had within yourself. And who was that? Maybe your mother.
Yep.
For years.
Yeah. I didn't actually come out and say anything in public about it until I was 48.
48 years old.
I was 48.
And then after that, still as a child, a teenager, you were actually raped by some neighborhood children.
They weren't children. They were in their late teens, so they weren't children, but they were people in my neighborhood. So I was gang raped. So it was 3 gentlemen.
And what happened after that?
I didn't say a word.
Didn't say a word.
Didn't say a word. And that's because by the time I was 14, that happened at 14. By the time
Okay.
I was 14, I was already conditioned not to tell. And so a lot of times when we hear in the media and we hear people coming forth years later, male, female, whoever, and start to talk about their story, people go, well, why didn't you say nothing? Well, you have no idea what a person has gone through. And so I tell people all the time, people don't need your opinion. They may need your prayer. They may need your understanding, but they don't need your opinion. Because what your opinion got to do with my story? Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of the people who have said in the past, if that happened 20 years ago, why are they talking about it now? And that's mainly when we speak on high profile celebrities.
They still people.
They're still people, definitely. But I think because it has not happened to us, we don't know how it feels
We have
to
no
be
sensitivity
that.
to
Correct.
it. Yeah.
Right. So we sit there and we're looking on a standpoint of they just want some attention. They're trying to get some money. Why would they wait 30 years, 20 years later to bring this up? Whatever. That's how we look at it.
But let me say this. One of the things around the conditioning not to tell is it spills over in other areas of your life. So it's not just not telling about that. You begin to not own your truth, your honesty, whether it be what happens in your job, what happens with your maid. You begin to, that becomes a pattern of how you think, how you function, because that's your foundation and that's what it has been built on. So I found myself in business situations, not really liking something but not saying anything because I was using that mechanism of not telling my truth. And so once I got to the point that I was healed enough to tell the truth, which my truth I own and it's mine, and I have a right to do with it what I choose to do with it. And to be real honest, at this point, I really don't care who don't like it, who got a problem with it, who says I shouldn't have told. I have a good friend that I grew up in church with, and when I did finally tell the story, when I did my Twisted Storyteller story, and I sent it to a bunch of people, she called another friend of mine and says, I really don't think that Sabrina should have said that. She should have kept that to herself. Because there's still people that think that, well, if you've gone this long without saying anything, don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm. But when you said something, was that like a moment of relief?
To be real honest, no, it wasn't, because I didn't even plan to say nothing the day I said something.
Okay.
I was on a panel of women, and a woman in the audience asked a question, and it pricked my story. And so I just start because my whole being is about helping someone else. And so because I felt her pain, I felt where she was, I knew that my story could help her.
Okay.
And so that's when I told it. And it was so crazy because so many people were like, oh my God, I never knew that happened to you. Oh my God, I would have never thought. And then I said, well, what are people supposed to look like? So I walk around with my clothes tattered and torn, you know. What am I supposed to look like? Yeah, put on makeup. Yeah, I do all of that. So I know that it is a space where it helps other people heal. And then once I told it on Fox too,
Yeah.
I had more men call me than anything. And it was amazing how many men called me saying that they had the freedom now to tell their truth about their assaults.